What's up, Summoners? King Blader here. Today we're going to be talking about the banner hero for these next couple of weeks, Tywin. So this unit is one of the units that I often forget exists, just because it's like you don't see it as often because he's mostly used in arena offense. But let's just talk about him. I actually don't think he's bad, like, at all. We'll go over whether you should pull for him or not, and what I think about him, what teams you could use him in. So we're going to look for him. He is a knight. So knights have some of the best artifacts. So before we start the skills, let's look at the stats. He is at 110, so respectable. Not the fastest in the game, but again, not terrible. But let's just get right into the skills. So he's one of those units that like people use a lot. So that's his ultimate. But this is one of the units that the people that have him love him, but the people that don't have him like don't really know about him that much. So first skill, attacks with the sword, 50% chance to spell one buff, which is pretty good. You know, having a chance to spell a buff in such a like buff heavy meta with like immunity and all that stuff and barrier, this is not bad. And the damage is based on his health since he is a knight, and this effect does go up to 85%, so that's pretty high. That's most likely you're going to be taking a buff off every single turn. So, you know, pretty good solid first skill. As far as the second skill, this is why he's actually used a lot more and where he finds his niche in the game, where he can do so much work for you. It's the second skill. So let me just show the first skill before I get to the second skill animation. So he kind of just swings his sword and breaks the ground beneath him, throwing some things. The second skill increases attack and critical chance of the caster and an ally. So it's only one ally, but most of the time where you're using him, you only need that one ally. And then increases combat readiness by 30%. I believe this combat readiness is for everyone on the team, but the first part, that all that matters is he at least does it to him and the ally. And that honestly is what makes this such a good skill and what makes him such a good buffer, is because he's able to give attack buff, which again, really good, and crit buff, which crit buff does increase by, if it's anything like Challenger Dummies, is by 50%. So you have a 50% chance higher of critting, which is really good. You're most likely going to crit with any unit that you're using him in, and that's what makes him so good. So where are you using him with this skill? This skill makes him be good on CES teams because you can give your CES attack, you can give him crit chance, and you can give him combat readiness. If you don't have the auxiliary lots, he fills in that role really well. So what you would normally do is have someone like a Judith or someone that's really fast at increasing combat readiness, so you can get your Tywin to go. So he's able to do the second skill, increase attack, increase hit chance, and, you know, does a lot of work. And after this, you would have your CES go and try to kill someone in one shot, or you would probably do where it's your Judith goes first, then it's someone that's going to set up, maybe like your Asaria or your Euphine or anyone that does defense break, or your Bellona, and then you have him pushing that CES, who is going to be a really slow CES, because you can give him essentially 60% combat readiness between him and the Judith. So, and you give him crit rate and attack buff. So he's really good at setting up for that. But not only that, he's the king of wombos with this third skill. So this is something I didn't know, and I was surprised because there's a lot of defense breaking units, but he's one of the only units that does an AoE defense break that's 100% chance. And that's huge. I didn't know this. I thought Bellona was the one that was always used because, oh, she has an 85% chance. It's pretty high. It's one of the highest, if not the highest. But Tywin has the highest, which is 100%. Of course, you can't get higher than that. And I actually do think he's the only one that has a 100% chance to decrease defense of everyone. And that's just so good. There's really no replacement for that. Having a 100% chance to defense break is huge. Even though he is water, so you're not going to be doing it on grass units, this is setting up for your other wombo teams. So on this, it's more of the one-shotter. So this is your Ludwig. This also is really good for Ludwig. This is really good for CES. For all those units that are like, hey, if I get to go, I can cleave. This is more for teams that are like, hey, I'm going in and we're going to wombo combo. This is all the skill does. Because you're just going in and decreasing the defense of everyone. The increased defense is like, they really didn't need to add this. Like, this was just a cherry on top, and it makes it so you don't get killed in arena in the next turn. So this is huge. So typically how you would use him because of the skill, the teams that it allows you to use would be your Vildred teams, your Celestial Mercedes teams, your Arbiter Vildred, if you're lucky enough to have one. Like any of those teams that is just there to just wombo combo and one-shot everything. So at this point, you would just build super high effectiveness on him to try to always get the defense break. And then you would most likely have your combat readiness booster. So in this case, you do have to have faster units, and having all like speed tune. It's a little bit harder to build teams this way, but I feel like they're more rewarding. But you would probably go with someone like Horado, Euphine, Moonlight Sage, or Sage, Ball, and Sasan. Just anyone that can strip buffs. Or Basar. Basar is actually very underrated for this. But Basar would probably be really good with Tywin. If you have a Basar, you would do Basar, strip all buffs, give everyone cannot be buffed. Then you come in with Tywin. Or Tywin. I don't know Tywin because he has win in his name. Go in with all out attack. Decrease everyone's defense. And then with 100% chance, as long as they're not grassing, you have high enough effectiveness. And then you would probably, like, depending what you want to do. Let's say you have Celestial Mercedes. We're going to use Celestial Mercedes because I think right now, she's the best one to go with Tywin. But Vildred and all those other characters can also fill in that slot. But you would have your Celestial Mercedes or your Vildred come in, use this skill, and then just wipe the team. That still gives you a slot for one more slot. You could either add more AoE damage, or you could add someone that buffs. Or both. I can't think off the top of my head someone that has an AoE attack that also increases attack. If there is, that would be perfect for this scenario. So that's typically what you want to do if you're using him for this third skill. For the second skill, it's more for your Ludwigs, more for your Cesses. So just very solid overall. First skill it's just nice having that for extended fights. But the third skill is really good for wombo comboing. So he has a little bit of everything. So what do I think about him? In PvE, he is not the best. So for Dragon, he's decent. 100% chance to decrease, but it's not up enough for you to be able to have a consistent defense breaker. So he's not that good for Dragon. He's not that good. He's decent for some raids because having an AoE defense does help out, especially some stages in Abyss. This is really, really nice in some stages of Abyss, and also this is really, really nice. So he's not bad for Abyss, but generally he's not what you think for PvE. But for PvP, he does everything. He is your wombo combo machine. So should you get him? If you are one of those people that has a Celestial Mercedes and has her built, you should definitely pull for him. No matter what unit is coming down the line, if you have a Celestial Mercedes, you really need to get Tywin because he's just the best one for his role. So there's just no replacement for him. Yes, you could use Bellona, but having that consistency of 100%, you can't beat. And then having the versatility of being able to do this, it's just insane. Also, if you have Vildred and Tywin are like hand in hand. So overall, if you already have units that are really good at doing really strong AoE damage, and you're just trying to get that little extra push to be able to do really well in the arena, he is the guy for you. The problem is right now with the current meta, you are still gonna lose to those Sage, Ball, and Sasan teams if you don't have a way to just wipe them out before you do your combo. And that's the part that does kind of suck. There's not a lot you could do there. Well, the only thing I could tell you guys is if you have a Baiken and you use Baiken as your combat readiness booster, if you target the Sage, Ball, and Sasan while you're giving yourself that combat readiness, you do have that added benefit that if you drop his health enough, he won't be able to use his skill 3. He will use his skill 3, not his skill 2, so you can still get that chance to get your combo off. But then you're probably going to lack the damage. So he does get countered by Sage Ball and Sasan, which kind of sucks, but that makes him not as strong for late game arena, and you really have to think of some ways to get him to that point and some of your team compositions. But if you're early challenger or just trying to get to that next tier, like especially if you're master, he's really, really good. Just remember that there are going to be more event units. So if you don't have any wombo combo and already have a defense breaker that you're like, I don't really need to have the 100%, then you really don't need to have Tywin. But again, he's really, really good. The people that have him love him. Zero complaints. I don't have him. I'm probably not going to be pulling for him just because I'm trying to save up. Almost at that 200 subscriber mark. So we're going to be doing a big summoning session when we get there. But that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.